If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
Jim and Linda Jones from Alabama Childhood Food Solutions joined us this morning, and good morning to both of you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us today. And, with this coronavirus, it's turned our world upside down, and it's given great opportunities, however, for Alabama Childhood Food to help more people.
Certainly, we're helping more people with the virus having attacked us in Alabama. We haven't had quite as much publicity as they do in New York City, but we've added 1,000 children to our normal 2,000 that we feed every month and
every week.
Every week,
Yeah.
and we're searching for food.
How are we able to get our arms around this, Linda?
It hadn't been easy, I'm telling you. Every day it changes, so we have a word, we have to be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Every day things change in our organization, and we just trying to keep up. When somebody calls us and says they have so many children they need to feed, we say, okay, we try to do this, And the families, we're taking the calls as they come in and trying to see them every day just about, we're still doing our main distributions with the families on the first and the third Thursday and the first Saturday of the month. But we're also adding, like today, we're probably going to see about 30 families today.
Jim, talk about the original concept of Alabama Childhood Food.
Linda and I had been around the world on 5 continents, and we'd seen hunger everywhere we went. We came back from a trip to Africa, and I realized that 21% of the kids in Sylacauga area were food insecure.
That's mind-boggling.
Yeah, that's 1 in every 4 kids essentially that didn't have enough food when they went home for the weekend from school. And we went to a church one day up in Ohio, and a young fellow was speaking, and he said, "There's a need for food all over the country. Somebody needs to do something about it." And he pointed directly at me. And I said, "Okay, I'm somebody. I can do something about this." And we did. We started off with 40 little bags of food out of the back of our pickup truck. And now this past 3 weeks, we've served over 12,000 bags of food to food insecure kids in our town.
Linda, when this first started, what were your thoughts on it at that time? Jim, were you crazy?
Really, we just had to hold hands and say, okay, Lord, if this is what you want us to do, we'll do it, but it has to be His ministry, it's not ours. And to this day, we still pray, and all the glory goes to God, because all of it belongs to Him. And when we started out with those 40 bags, we thought, well, we'll probably get up to 200, and that'll be great. Well, 200 came and went a long time ago.
Just in 2019, the numbers were staggering.
Oh, they are staggering. They're so big I can hardly pronounce them. We gave over 80,000 bags of food away to the children alone in our area last year. And we're already up to 90,000 this year because of the COVID-19.
How did and when did you first begin to look at this COVID-19 and say, this is going to affect food insecure people for sure?
Well, when they started talking about closing the schools, we knew something was going to happen then, and every day we thought, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to be able to get the food out to the kids, So it's just evolved from that every day.
And this has been a big part, Jim, of who you guys are feeding these children.
Absolutely. We think it's our mission to care for those around us. Certainly in the Bible it says, love thy neighbor as thyself, and we have taken on our neighbors, and I claim all of these children as my temporary adoptees because I feel responsible for these children and the senior adults who we help to feed. There's a lot of seniors in Sylacauga who get $20 a month in food stamps, and they need help with their grocery bill.
Since mid-March, the numbers have just been staggering.
Yes.
Well, not only at our little food pantry, but all over the country, food pantries are struggling to get in food, as we are. They're struggling to maintain their financial situation because of the extra cost of groceries, and groceries have become less available. We have normally can pick up food we need in Alabama, but we've had to reach out to Nashville, Tennessee. We're getting food up from Shreveport, Louisiana. So it's a struggle right now to get the food we need to feed thousands of kids and seniors.
So how are we doing this with school out?
Well, we're coordinating with SAFE, with all the school boards, the county and the city school boards from Talladega, Coosa, Shelby, Talladega City, all of them. They're taking we're packing all the food with our volunteer help. We're packing foods in boxes, and then they're coming in buses to pick it up, pick up the food, and they take it to the different locations where they are. And they're having lunches for the kids at school. So once they pick that lunch up, then they also pick a bag up for the weekend also from us.
Since mid-March, distributed weekend food bags with 3,200 children per week.
Yes, right here where we live.
Yeah.
It's not something that's happening just in the Northwest, Northeast.
Right here.
It's here with us. It's our community that we have to look out for. It's not, it's not just Birmingham. It's Sylacauga, Talladega, Lincoln, Shelby County, all the way over to Ashland and Clay County. So it's our responsibility. The federal government cannot do all of the feeding of every person in the country. So as a small group, we're not small. We're actually the largest distributor for Central Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. We're their largest customer right now in getting food for essentially over 6,000 people when you include the adults and seniors.
Linda, this has got to be a God thing, or it wouldn't work.
Absolutely. There's just no way that Jim and I could do this, and we have to have everybody around us pulling together and doing it all. And we have so many good qualified people on our board. We have 9 people on our board, and they all give and take and do, every one of them. So it's just amazing how God puts us all right together. Everybody got their own gifts and brings it toward helping to feed the families and the children.
And Jim, there's government guidelines you guys have to go by as far as numbers are concerned.
Well, there are government guidelines, but by being an independent, faith-based organization, we can feed anybody that comes to our door. We don't have to say, well, your own food stamps, you don't get this, you don't get that.
Right.
If they come to us hungry, we make every effort to share what we have available. And there's a lot of that. Some days we get a lot of food from a number of the grocery stores on the 280 corridor, Publix, Walmart, Aldi, Sprouts, and one Piggly Wiggly in Mount Laurel. And we also get food from Starbucks, 2 Starbucks, and from Chick-fil-A here in Sylacauga.
Has it affected the flow of you getting food with all the other entities needing food as well?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We used to get all the kind of what they call leftovers from the grocery stores, and that's gone way down because people are just going in and buying everything, So there's very little leftovers for us, but we are still getting some especially from Walmart. We've been thankful for them.
Jim, what are some needs that we have today?
As far as Alabama Childhood Food, we have an urgent need for finances and cash. I can get food at 6 meals for $1 through Feeding America and the Food Bank, and so each dollar that is donated, I can essentially feed a person for nearly a day with the income that we have, $1. And even though the child's bag costs us nearly $4, or at $4 to care for a child for the weekend, our finances are our most urgent problem. The ability to procure food and find where it's at has been severely curtailed. Truckers are not moving the food as much as they were just before the virus hit. The manufacturers have had to close down across the country, and especially in the Southeast, where we get a lot of agricultural products. And that has affected not only us, but the agricultural workers. That we've had to pick up a group of agricultural workers over in Chilton County, 100 families, and that's a serious problem for getting the food in and being able to pay for the food that we're getting in.
Well, just like, for example, ramen noodles. All the kids love ramen noodles. Adults love
That's
ramen
a staple, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't find them anymore. I mean, we've called warehouse. They're empty, just not available. So that's one of the things that we just cannot get anymore.
And that'll fill a stomach right there.
Yeah, right.
It really does. Also, protein meat products like SpaghettiOs and Beanie Weenies and things like that, they're not being manufactured since March the 16th. And they won't be available for another week or two because the factory's closed to protect themselves and all of us. And so if you can't get it, it gets to be a real problem.
Question, maybe, there's a lot of people working from home today, and a lot of people spending more time around their television with the families being together. And across Alabama this morning, give an address where people, or an email, or ever how you want them to send a donation. We need this, ladies and gentlemen, desperately today.
Yes.
To keep feeding these children, not only children, but older adults, and you guys do this every day, and I've been around you, so I know this is a legitimate ministry, and we want you to give this morning, and Jim's going to tell you how to do that.
We would accept your donations at alabamachildhoodfood.com/donate-now. Or just go to alabamachildhoodfood.com and you'll see the donate button, and we would be especially
That's the quickest way to do it.
That's the quickest
way. We can have, from the time you make your donation till the money is in the bank, is just a half hour or so.
Well, let me put in one little thing. A PayPal right now this month is giving it to us free, no charge whatsoever. So any money that they give all of it comes to us, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and you can mail a donation.
You can mail the donation to 205 Old Home Place, 205 Old Home Place, Alpine, Alabama, 35014. And we'll repeat that again later, I hope.
There's many organizations that have been so helpful, many churches that have been helpful, and you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about volunteers, and you got to be careful. Those guidelines for groups of volunteers at one time.
Right. We have about 5 or 6 of us in the building all the time. So we're limiting our volunteers to 15 a day. So that way we can have 10 in this room and 10 in this room, and then we can keep spaced out. And so far we're able to do that, and keep our distance with everybody. And we wash our hands, we take temperatures before we come in the door, and that sort of thing. Make sure everybody's well.
What about the challenges that you see in the immediate future as far as trying to keep your arms around this and to feed the needy people? And there's many of them. Within just 2 miles of this TV station, there are many people.
Oh yes, within 2 miles of this station, there is hundreds and hundreds of kids and senior adults and others, homeless, veterans who have not been able to manage their finances as well as they might have been able to previously. We have single parent families that they got 3 kids and they were working 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Now they're out of work. They won't get another check. They don't have food. And some, you know, like the fella that got me started, somebody needs to take action. And Alabama Childhood Food intends to be the food source in Sylacauga as best we can.
And Linda, there's people today who've worked all their lives, and now then suddenly they're without a job, without income. It's embarrassing, you know, to say, hey, I need help.
It is embarrassing, but we try to help everyone to come in to realize that it's not, we try not to make it embarrassing to them. when they come in the door, we want them to feel like they are a important individual and they have worth. We try to love on them. We want them to feel good when they come in the door. But of course, right now with the COVID-19, nobody can come into the warehouse. So now when we give out food to the families, they come what we call drive-by, and they stay in their car and they just roll down their window about like this just so that we can see their ID, and then they pop the trunk of their car and we put the food in the car so that no one has any contact or anything.
Jim and Linda Jones, Alabama Childhood Food. Tell us again how to send a donation to you guys.
Send it to online. You send it to alabamachildhoodfood.com and /donate, and the money gets to us right away. Or send your check to Alabama Childhood Food, 205 Old Home Place, Alpine, Alabama, 35014.
And Linda, very quickly, tell us about your partnership with SAFE.
SAFE is using everything that they can to help us right now. All their personnel, all their buses, everything is working with us to distribute throughout Talladega County and Clay County. Just wherever they can go, they're taking food.
Now, are there particular days that you're connected with SAFE about the projects?
They're picking up
Every day.
just about every day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But this week it's going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday because of Good Friday. They're not going to pick up Good Friday, but they're going to have it already ready. So SAFE is a big part, and Margaret is also trying to get out and ask people for money for us because she knows how desperate we are to have money to be able to come in.
Chamber's been a great help.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
The Chambers of Commerce, both in Sylacauga, Greater Coosa Valley Chamber of Commerce, Shelby County Chamber of Commerce, and we have 28 churches that walk with God and let us walk together in the Sylacauga area and in Shelby County. And in addition to that, a number of the big corporations have stepped up to help. But with a grocery bill of $24,000 a week,
I couldn't handle that.
it's a grocery bill when it comes to Alabama Childhood Food. But this is something that they're advertising on other channels that we are together in this, and we are together in this. With everybody putting in a few dollars, we can really accomplish something to care for our own and not have to wait for the government to send down a few dollars to us in weeks.
I've kept this in the back of my mind. It's been months since you guys have been in here, several months ago, and you shared a story about this lady. Didn't call her name or anything, but didn't have anything in the house.
I remember it well.
Tell us either that story or another good news story that you were able to help.
Well, it's quite exciting. That particular lady called us, and as so many people do, she said, I don't have anything at all, and I need some food. And of course, it breaks my heart just to hear I need food. But it turned out that we carried her food in.
Maybe you were thinking she's got something.
Everybody has something. Everybody got at least salt and pepper. But when we got there, Linda was talking to her. I was delivering the food, and I opened the refrigerator and her freezer, top of the refrigerator, and there was nothing in that refrigerator except ice. And
Jim called me over.
I called Linda to see because I had never run into that before. Subsequently, Alabama Childhood Food and one of the churches has taken care of her on a regular basis.
Well, I want to tell about another one just the other day. A lady called, and she called me on my personal phone. How she got it, I don't know. But anyway, she said, I am a grandmother, and I'm taking care of my 4-year-old child. Could I get a bag for my 4-year-old grandchild that I'm keeping? And I said, well, certainly you can. But I said, wait, and I'll let Cindy, who makes all our reservations, I said, I'm going to let Cindy call and talk to you. And she said, okay. So when I talked to Cindy, I said, Cindy, she needs food for herself as well as for the child. So that, I think it was 2 days later, we had her in and we gave her a box of food, not just for the child, but for her too. But I thought that was it just touched my heart because she wasn't thinking about herself. She's thinking about that child.
Wow.
And that's the kind of things that we have going on right now.
We got a lot of viewers in Coosa County.
Yes.
And you guys are plugged in there as well.
We've been working with the schools in Coosa County for 5 or more years, and we're excited about that. And a number of people who have urgent needs for food come to our warehouse by appointment to get food for the adults and the seniors. And not only not just Coosa County, we found that in a set of apartments in Clay County, where there's 50 senior citizens who have no transportation, they have no ability to move, and especially during this lockdown that we have or stay-at-home situation, they're struggling. And so we've reached out to those senior citizens in Clay County. It's not our food. It belongs to God, and our job is to give it away as we get it in.
All right.
Now, Coosa County, you talked about, they're also taking the buses and they're going around to different places so that the kids can get food, because it's just so rural, you know. They take it out to them instead of them trying to come to the school to
Can't
get the
imagine a
food.
child being hungry.
No,
But anyways, we go this morning. Jim and Linda Jones from Alabama Childhood Food Solutions, our guests this morning, and let's kind of recap how people can help. And we, ladies and gentlemen, we need your help right now.
Yes, please.
You can contact Jim and Linda this morning and get the ball moving to help hungry children. This is no game. This is a real deal. Not only help hungry children, needy children for food, but to help seniors and veterans. Let's do this together. And Jim, walk us through it, how we can help and what we need to do.
Well, any donation is valuable. If you can't give $1 million, a dollar will feed up to 6 meals.
We'll take $1 million, you know.
That's right.
And it's quite exciting to be able to share those. The best way to get money to us is online with your computer at alabamachildhoodfood.com, and find the donate button at the top of the page and send your donation that way, or mail it to us at ACFS, Alabama Childhood Food, 205 Old Home Place, Alpine, ALPINE, Alabama 35014. We need your donation now, please.
And all of us can do something.
That's right.
And there's probably people watching this show this morning, or they know somebody that is food insufficient this morning.
Yes.
And how can they contact you guys?
Well, we have a hotline number that we like for everybody to call. It's just an answering machine, but if you leave a message on that machine, somebody will get back to you. And that number is 256-346-3490. 256-346-3490.
That's all of it.
And we ask everybody just to leave a really short message on that machine.
Now, I'm going to have this with me, and so I'll repeat this as we go through the next several days. But what a joy it is to have you guys with us this morning. Godspeed, continued success in feeding hungry children.
Yep. Your donation will be some child's next meal.
Yes.
We got more Daybreak coming up right after this.